Hi, everybody. Welcome to Reserve Seating. I have two car jokes.
Yes.
Why don't I drive a DeLorean?
I don't know, Adam. Why don't you drive a DeLorean?
Because I'd only use it from time to time. And what's a car's favorite type of book?
What?
Autobiographies.
Reserved seating starts right now.
Two jokes this week. That means no jokes next
No.
week. Oh,
I
thank
really
you.
like your drive, Adam.
Uh,
Hey, that was the best joke of
hey,
all three of them.
look at you. You just hit the NOS button on the jokes. So we are joined once again by the great Sonia Mansfield. How you doing,
Great.
Sonia?
I'm good. Hi, friends.
Hello. And we are on week two of our Stephen King run,
Hmm.
and we are doing Sonia's pick.
Yes.
Yes,
Sonia, please introduce the movie we're talking about today.
I really wanted to talk about Christine from 1983 because I am strangely drawn to this movie like once a year. I will watch
Oh.
Christine.
Is it the Stephen King of it or the John Carpenter of it that
I
draws you
think
back?
it's I think it's the John Carpenter of it, but I
Okay.
also just I like that the movie works on whatever level I want to enjoy it on. So, do I just
Yeah.
want a horror movie about a car that kills people? That's great. I'm like, or it's a metaphor for addiction, or maybe it's
Hmm.
about toxic relationships. I don't know. You could just go as deep as you want or not. And that's why I like it.
Or
Yeah.
it's about how tragic it is when guys are in their 30s and they're still in high school.
That too. By the way,
Who could you be talking about?
Margot Donahue used to refer to that man as caveman John Travolta.
Oh
He
yeah.
does look like Caveman John Travolta.
Oh
I
yeah.
thought of Margot when I saw him because I was like, he must have been the stand-in for Val Kilmer in The Doors.
He definitely has that look.
Yeah. I know we're going all over the place with
Yes.
Christine, but interesting motley crew of bullies where you
Mm.
would think that three out of the four are the bullied, but
Yes.
they've been elevated to being bullies.
Yeah, they definitely have a ringleader. And then the other three have played nerds in like various other 80s movies.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, that's the nerd from Just One of the Guys. That's the nerd from Real Genius. They've all played nerds.
And then
But
you think
yes,
of
they
like
are bullies.
and then you think of this movie as like the nerd going like tough guy, and you're like, John, that tells you a lot. Sometimes directors tell on themselves, and you're like, with their casting, you're like, this says something very interesting about John Carpenter. That like these are who the guys who he cast for his bullies, and like then this guy is transitioning from one to the other. Like, I wonder who was beating John Carpenter up in high school. What those guys look like. That's what I want to know.
It also maybe tells you a little bit about like what girls they find attractive because Alexandra Paul is basically just Adrienne Barbeau.
Yeah,
That's who John Carpenter
Hmm.
was
Carpenter
married
has a
to.
type. Yeah.
And yeah, and Kelly Preston's just sitting there being like, "Hello, I'm Kelly Preston. Why is no one interested
Yeah,
in
the
me?"
camera literally looks away from her, like it averts its eyes. And I'm like, how can that be?
Christine,
Christine.
this was my second time seeing the movie. It's not something that I have like a long history with. I liked it a lot more on this viewing. The gripe I have that I can't get
Oh,
past
I have
is,
lots of gripes, but please.
yeah, mine is just that they skip like 15 minutes in the second act.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
like we don't see Arnie going from nerd to
yeah.
like super confident and like hooking up with Alexander Paul and everything like that. Like so much like if we're watching it strictly from maybe John Stockwell's POV, then it's like, oh yeah, like wow, a lot's happened in like just a few short weeks. But like I don't
Hmm.
think that's meant to be how we're supposed to view it. I think it's just like there's scenes missing from this movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's one of my big quibbles too. If I could channel JB here and be the quibbler, is that
Sure.
we miss this huge chunk of the movie where Arnie clearly is under the influence of the car and is slowly transforming, but we don't see any of that. That is frustrating.
That being said, like it is an interesting mix of like, as you said, like an interesting mix of genres. It's the kid, it's the horror, straightforward slasher movie, as you said before, Sonia. I also, this is not a movie I have a ton of history with. I've maybe seen it a handful of times. I think probably like one of my first scary movie months with the site was probably one of the first times I'd seen it.
Mhm.
It's definitely like not my favorite flavor of Carpenter, and it's not my favorite flavor of Stephen King, but there's enough in it that I kind of like can find something to latch onto every couple scenes, or something at least really curious. And you see a lot of like we could talk about the special effects, but the obviously the moment of Christine rebuilding herself is one of
Mhm.
those things like where you're watching the thing and you're like, how did he do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did that act? And of course I had to like instantly Google like how did they, oh, it was a hydraulic press and they did it in reverse. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. That makes the whole thing worth it.
I think it got a bump for me because I went to like a rep screening of Christine and I took my then like 18-year-old niece. She really wanted to see it, and but she was also like, it's not going to be that scary. It's about a car.
Right.
And the audience was into it, not in an ironic way. They just like really, really enjoyed the movie. And then there's a scene where like the car, Christine turns on her headlights and the music just goes bang.
Mhm.
It scared the shit out of her. Are we allowed to swear on reserve seat?
Oh,
Of
man.
course, yeah.
She like jumped out of her seat. And then last year I showed this to my then 12-year-old son, and he also jumped off the couch at that
Yeah.
scene. Like
It
it's
speaks with a
a
cadence that
good
like horror
moment.
movies don't speak with anymore. You know what I mean? So you could definitely get a younger person. It's like I think it's probably something we're more used to because we understand how 80s horror movies operate.
Right.
Whereas it's definitely a jump because like I was thinking about that too. Like Adam, you mentioned like the movie kind of skipping an act.
Yeah.
And it's almost 2 hours, which is like really long for a horror movie, and it's definitely like something where you really feel him stretching the premise. Like it's really like it's struggling to get to 1 hour and 50 minutes or whatever, but at the same time, as you said, they skip a bunch of scenes. So it's such an interesting mix. I know Carpenter has like mixed feelings about this movie, in retrospect about directing it, and maybe it was the movie he should have made, or maybe it wasn't the movie he should have made at the time, but for all my like little quibbles with it, like I just think it's a really fascinating object.
Maybe not script wise, it's not airtight like
Yeah.
we already talked about, but just from a directing standpoint, like there's so much flair to it. And he was coming right off of the Thing remake, and it's like he had like that residual,
Yeah.
just like
He's in the
panache
pocket.
that
Hmm.
was, yeah, he was totally vibing at this point. And I'm a sucker for like faux 50s stuff in movies. So I think that's one of the reasons why I like Stephen King material so much, is because it's like this kind of like twisted rose-colored
Yeah.
glasses version
Yeah.
of the 1950s.
Yeah.
It's goth boomerism.
Yeah.
And we were coming out of things like like Happy Days was on TV,
Mhm.
like Grease is in the theater. There was
Right.
all this like
50s
very like
nostalgia.
so much 50s nostalgia, and this was like kind of showing a dark side of that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really like Keith Gordon in this. I think he's really,
He's
really
great.
good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The scene where he says like show me and the car rebuilds herself, it's he's looking at that car, it's kind of dirty.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
it's well,
He reminded me of this kid that I went to high school with. He was real intense. He was in the ROTC. He was a nice guy, but like he had a reputation of being a little odd, kind of like Keith Gordon and Christine, where if he was coming from a track meet, he would make his girlfriend sit in the back and he would have his track shoes on the passenger seat.
oh brother.
I have a couple of questions. One is, did either of you, by any chance, see a Care Bears movie in the 80s?
Did not.
Okay. I am familiar with the general storyline of Christine because there's a Care Bears movie from the mid 80s that completely ripped off Christine, but it's an
wow.
evil book and not a car. And at the end of
Mm-hmm.
the movie, the Care Bears have to like go like this and like shoot their stomachs out at like the kid, and like they're like, we care. And I need to figure out what movie this is so I can go right and I'll watch anything about it, because it was something like I remember like being scared by and like relieved when the Care Bears saved the day and stuff. It was like a
Well,
real
I
like
think that was the alternate ending for Christine, but they went with this one instead.
Well, I was about to ask you guys if you'd thought of the sexually attracted to cars trilogy the way that I did, which is
okay.
it's this movie first, right? It's Christine first, and then it's Crash. It's Cronenberg's Crash,
Hmm.
right? And then it's Titane, where the woman literally has sex with a car. I was like, I would do that triple feature. I'd watch all
You,
three of those movies.
you could add Death Proof to that
Did
as a
add Death
fourth
Proof to
doc.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Do either of you have a favorite performance or character?
I really like Keith Gordon in it, but I also was wondering, where is John Stockton? Stock,
Stop.
I
Stock,
said it right. Stockwell.
yeah.
Thank you,
Stockwell.
Stockwell.
Yeah.
Like he did this, he did my science project, and then
Mhm.
I feel like I never saw him again, or maybe he was in Top Gun in the background,
He is in
and
Top Gun
then
at the beginning. He's the guy who bugs out at the start. Um,
oh, that's right. Okay.
he is a director. He
Yeah.
directed every movie from the 2000s where people had their shirts off.
Yep.
Nice.
Like
Okay.
Blue Crush, Crazy Beautiful, Into the Blue. Like if it's a movie where people are on a beach and have their shirts off
Stuff.
or
Okay.
in swimsuits, it's probably a John
Yeah.
Stockwell movie.
I think he does a good job in this movie
Yeah,
because he
I
is
like him.
playing someone who is popular but kind,
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
clearly still has a soft spot for Arnie, wants to be helpful, and seems really, really hurt when things start to go wrong. I think he does a really good job.
I always like when they show football scenes in movies like Christine or The Blob 1988, where it seems pared down enough where I'm just like, I could have played football in this movie. And it kind of makes me feel a little macho, and I appreciate that.
And it's got a Harry Dean Stanton to burn.
Yeah.
Yeah, good Robert Prosky.
Yeah, a little Robert Prosky in
Hmm.
there.
Yeah.
I know I always know Robert Prosky as the projectionist in Last Action Hero.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up on him in that and like the Sven type and
Yeah.
Gremlins too. And then it's been nice going back and seeing him be just like a bastard and like Christine or Thief. And
I actually wanted to ask you guys if you knew who else was originally talked to be in this movie.
Ooh, ooh.
no,
Oh,
So apparently at one point they wanted Brooke Shields,
okay. For
and then
Alexandra Paul's part.
for Christine. No, for that part. And then Scott Baio for Keith Gordon. I definitely wouldn't be rewatching the movie every year if it had Scott Baio in it.
Yeah.
And then apparently Kevin Bacon also auditioned for the role.
Okay.
you can see that.
And I'm like, he might have been good.
If you had a car that was in love with you, and it had to play a song to convey its love for you, what
Mhm.
would you want that song to be?
Oh,
Mhm.
I got my answer.
Then you should definitely go
You
first.
should go.
Okay. Interstate Love Song by STP, baby.
Mine would be
What-
something with Taylor Swift. I don't know what it would be. I have a
Oh, congratulations, our dude.
Thank
Yeah.
you, thank you. Yes, it's a big day for Swifty. Sonia, I know you're also in celebration.
I am wearing my Taylor Swift shirt today. It
Are you
says,
wearing it?
I cry a lot, but I am so productive.
We could all do it with a broken heart, Sonia.
Yes.
Sonia, what would your song be?
Oh,
I was
um,
yeah, we're stalling for you.
Brick House,
But who's that by again?
the Commodores.
Oh
That's
my
my
God.
thought. Okay, yeah.
I like it. That's a good one. All
All
right.
right. So this was awesome. Sonia, thank you for joining us
Thank you for
again.
joining us
It
again,
was
Sonia.
so fun as always.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the fun's got to keep going
Yes.
because we got one more week of Stephen King movies to talk about. And I'm gonna pick Silver Bullet because I haven't seen it since I saw it, and I remember it being really fun and also having one of the worst werewolves I've ever seen.
Ooh, I've never seen it, so I'm
Ooh.
excited to see the worst werewolf ever.
Do you like Corey Haim?
Who doesn't?
Get ready. So, thank you everybody, and until next time.
These seats are in a car that will kill for you. Literally ride and die.
It's nice.
Yeah.
God, I hate rock and roll.